Good morning, everybody. We are going to do about 40 minutes of Q&A. If you guys have questions, please put them in the comments and I will answer them. However, I do have a question from Bigger Pockets. Kaylee from Bigger Pockets sent me a link, and today I'm going to go in there and answer this. Welcome for anybody that's watching this live. I will see what we got over here. So I'm going to go onto Bigger Pockets website and answer some questions over there and see what I can do to help some people out. So house hacking, SubTo method to house hack advice. All right. Love it. Hi, I really want to house hack as my first entrance into the investor world. With low cash on hand and no steady on paper employment over the last 2 years. Okay, it sounds like you're a perfect buyer for creative finance. I feel subject to deal would be the best for me right now. Has anyone ever house hacked using a subject to method? I'd love to hear your story. What's the best list of homeowners to go for when doing SubTo? Okay, let's answer this one by one. Great question. I do about 1 to 2 subject to deals per day. This market has doubled my creative finance deals. So you are definitely asking the right person. I am also answering this question live on my YouTube channel. If you want to go watch it. Okay, so 1. Yes, we do subject to deals all the time. And yes, you can live in them as you own them. I have lived in a subject to house for the last 7 years. All right, so that's question number 1. Question number 2 is, what's the best list of homeowners to go for when doing subject to pre-foreclosures, probate? Okay, best list right now is, there's actually a couple of them, but expired listings. Amazing. You do not have to go through agents. No offense to agents. They simply are a barrier to getting deals done. I prefer lists that do not involve them. That being said, I do a deal a week with an agent, and some agents are really good at creative finance. Most are not. So I avoid them. Second best list is no equity and 100 plus days on market, plus add the filter of loan origination dates between 2018 and 2022. Actually, 2021 is kind of the best, but I'll just say 2022, I'll say January of 2022. You can get these lists upstream, batch leads, etc. Third is high pain point, like foreclosure. Okay, so let's see here. What is okay? So poor out-of-state owners or abandoned properties. I'm in Detroit and see a lot of abandoned properties that seem very salvageable. Okay, so 3, you need a community of people who will help you. I have hundreds of students in the Detroit area who are doing deals, cash deals and creative deals. In fact, we have students in every part of the country. Go to my free Facebook group called Creative Finance with Pace Morby and find them there. They will help you. Okay. Perfect. Also, where do I find the said list? Okay, I've already answered that. Someone mentioned my county's register of deeds. You can do that. You can go to your county's register of deeds. My wife did a whole YouTube video about how to go down and get free leads. Another really great place here. I'll even do this. Bonus answer. Free to go to the county. But the best place to go is to a title company or closing attorney and get a list from them. You can ask my SubTo students in your area which title company to use. I just did a video actually for Bigger Pockets YouTube channel where I show you how to do this. Should come out soon. I did it and recorded it so you can watch how to ask and speak to a title company. A free list. So yeah, that is true. And the challenge with that is a lot of people don't know how easy it is and they kind of overcomplicate the relationship with it. Is it necessary? Is a lawyer necessary for SubTo? If so, recommendations in Michigan, welcome. Okay, cool. 4, we always close with a title company or a closing attorney, depending on the state invest in. Arizona, for example, title company. Then Georgia, for example, is a closing attorney. Depends on the state. Go find my community. Go find my SubTo community. It will help you. We have the biggest go-givers in the industry. Cool. There you go. All right. So there you go. Boom, 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 boom. So I wish you could work by my side as well. The challenge with working by my side is that I don't do the things today that I used to do 5 years ago and 7 years ago. So like, for example, I did buy a deal today. I'll give you guys the address. It is under contract, so I don't mind giving the address away, but let's let's see here. I bought a deal with Sam Singh, one of my students. He lives in Fresno, California, but has a team of SubTo students all over the country. And this address is, I want to show you this, guys, but I don't want to show you guys the seller's name. So let's see if we can scroll it down. Yeah, this is perfect. Okay, cool. Let me show you guys this real fast. This is a deal I did this morning. We just bought it. 2.49%. 2.49%. Pretty freaking cool. Let's see, window. All right, here we go. So if you look here, you'll see this is a deal. We just bought 2.49% subject to deal. This is the mortgage statement from the seller. Let's see. I want the address, but I don't want to give the seller's name away. Okay, there it is. 1626 Lorna Drive in Henderson, Nevada. 1626 Lorna Drive in Henderson, Nevada. So let's pull that up. This is a deal that we just bought subject to taking over the mortgage. Pretty cool. Its estimate's $366,900. I'm getting it for like $280. So I've got it deeply discounted, $60,000, $70,000 of equity on day one, plus 2.49% interest, which is cool. I literally did not use a bank. I'm going to pay payments directly to Rocket Mortgage. Here's how the flow of SubTo works, just so you guys know. Okay, the flow. I should do a whole series just on like the flow of SubTo, so you guys can see how it works. But let me pull this off real quick. The flow of SubTo is pretty simple. Okay, you've got a seller. Okay, and that seller has a house, and attached to the house, this is the seller or the current owner, and attached to the house are two documents. Okay, one is the debt, and the other one is the deed. Okay, DD. The deed is ownership. This is who owns the property. So whoever has their name on the deed or control of that deed is the owner. Okay. Then you have the debt, which is like in this situation, it's Rocket Mortgage. Okay. That's who helped this person buy this property. And what's great about real estate is that because there's a physical asset to attach this document to, okay, the mortgage or the deed of trust, depending on what state you're in, the way real estate works is that this deed does not have to be secured or held onto by the mortgage company. So I can transfer this deed. It is literally a one page. Okay. A deed is typically one page. And I can take this deed as the seller and I can sign on the front of it, and I can sign this deed over to whoever I want, whenever I want. Okay. And that is technically a sale. So let's say I, the buyer, come along and say, hey, I really, really like that mortgage that's sitting in place. It's 2.49%. I really like that. So it doesn't make sense for me. This is what people don't understand about subject to, is it doesn't make sense for me as the buyer to go get a new loan. Why would I go to a bank over here and get a new loan that right now interest rates are at 7% to buy this property? Why would I do that? It doesn't make any sense for me to do that. None, zero, zilch. Okay. So I go directly to the seller. Typically, that's my business model. I go directly to the seller and I say, hey, why don't you just sign that deed over to me and I'll just make payments on your behalf. So the ownership now, okay, that deed is no longer in the seller's name. Okay. The seller has now signed that over to me. So now I have the deed is recorded and has my company's name on the deed, my LLC. Okay. I use a company called Start with Prime to do all my LLC structures, just for anybody that doesn't have an LLC yet. So now I'm the owner and the seller is no longer the owner. Seller is no longer involved at all. He goes away and he goes on his merry way and he goes this direction. And yes, the seller's name is still on the hook for the debt. Now, why would a seller do this? There's 1,000 reasons why a seller would do this. 1,000 reasons why. The first reason why a seller would do is they're in some sort of pain, right? They're going, I could tell, if I told you every single story about every deal that we did, you would, at the end of those story, after the second story, you would say, I got it. There's always a reason. There's always a very, very specific, detailed reason. And then your job becomes very clear, is to go find more of those people that are going through those scenarios, right? So in this scenario, the seller has a house that needs a little bit of renovation. They don't want to go through an agent to list the property. And they know that they have a really low interest rate. And they're like, yeah, take my interest rate. I don't care. I just want 25 grand in my pocket and I'll walk away from the house. Now, if you're a brand new investor, I will tell you, most brand new investors look at that situation and they go, man, how do I make money in this situation? Well, there's multiple ways to make money in this situation, guys. You can find the deal. Okay. If you find the deal, you can assign it and wholesale it. Yes, you can assign and wholesale subject to deals. So you can assign it. The person that signed the deal to me right on that deal is making $15,000 at essentially like 90% of retail. Okay. And if I was a wholesaler, like a traditional cash wholesaler, I wouldn't be able to do this deal, right? There's no way I'd be able to do a 90% of the purchase price as my offer to the seller. Whereas creative finance, we come along and we go, yeah, we'll give you 25 grand to basically walk away and just give us the most valuable asset, which is the 2.49% interest rate. But if you're brand new, you're not going to be like me, right? You're not going to be the person that keeps the deal, which is a second way to make money. Okay. Okay. I'm keeping the deal. For me, I want passive income because this is how we get financial freedom. Okay. I'm at a point now where I don't have to go find another deal. When I first started in wholesaling and buying and holding and fixing and flipping, I had to look at next month and our monthly goals. What are we going to do next month to not just cover the payroll, but also pay our own bills, and then also grow, and then also sprinkle in a little bit of passive income to the point where you stack it and stack it, stack it. It takes a couple of years. So I always advise to people, start out with wholesaling subject to and wholesaling seller finance deals, because you'll get today money, right? Like Sam Singh is making $15,000 assigning that deal to me, and I won't even use any of my own money. Okay. How do you present these deals to you? You do not. I will not do a deal with a non-SubTo student for a very, 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 very long time. People that are new to me are going to be like, wow, he's not a giver. Guys, I was such a giver for 7 years. In order to build a really powerful community, I gave and gave and gave and gave and gave. And we created a community of people that are now trained. And I've trained and trained and trained and trained these people to go, and now they help you guys. I will continue to build my YouTube channel. I'm doing a live right now where I'm helping you. There's nobody in the industry that understands subject to more than me. I have attorneys from all over the country that call me. I have servicing companies that call me all over the country. I am the foremost expert on subject to. I will claim that title. There's nobody in the country that knows more than I do about subject to, seller finance, novation agreements. I am the guy. So my students are trained. If you're not a student of mine, go to my students and go submit deals to them. Where can you find my students? Well, I answered that at the very beginning. Go to Creative Finance with Pace Morby. It's a free Facebook group. Okay. And go work with them. I will do a deal with you if it goes through a student. But I'm in a situation now where I just don't have the time to get on the phone with you and do one-on-ones and walk you through your paperwork and your, like I got a DM today. This is a really perfect example of this. Okay. Get a DM today. And obviously a non-student of mine sends me a message and he says, where is that? Okay. So he sends me an address. All right. And I go, oh, okay, great. Hey, I don't do cash deals. I only do creative deals, but thank you. And he goes, oh, I think it could be a creative deal, but I don't think it's a cash deal. I'm like, wow, that's really confusing. What does the seller think? And his answer is, I haven't spoken to the seller. You are bringing an address to me and you have not spoken to the seller? This is why I won't do deals with non-students anymore. I just won't. I don't have time to decipher what the heck we're talking about. I used to do this all the time for 7 years. I leave that now up to my students. They need to practice educating and teaching the non-SubTo students. I will continue to dig deep, and like tonight, I've got a 4-hour, 5-hour Q&A with my students. I'm going to continue to deep dive and educate, and tons of examples. And we're doing 4, 5, 6 deals a week, subject to seller finance, just with my SubTo community. So tons of deals are being done inside of there, just me with my students. And then they're doing thousands of deals every month with themselves. I got all my time and energy focused on that. You need to go to my free Facebook group, Creative Finance with Pace Morby, and find my students in your area. There are 90,000 people in the free Facebook group, and there's about 9,000 SubTo students. I've always kept the ratio to one student for every 10 non-students. So each student can have 10 people on average to work with and educate and help and all that kind of stuff. Okay. So Juan, he's going to ask this question. Guys, don't ask the question of anyone here from Little Rock, Arkansas in here. Okay. This is what you should be doing. Let me give you a little education, because you guys won't do it unless I literally walk you through it. Okay. So here we are. Watch this. Let's go to facebook.com/groups/creative finance with Pace Morby. Oops, I spelled it wrong. Of course, I'm dumb. Here we go. So here's the Facebook group right here. 33 new members today. Fast growing. It's amazing. Go in here. There's 85,900 members. Okay, go in here and this is what you should do. Okay, there are people right now. Three new subject to deals in Atlanta, Georgia. Need buyers. Oh, that's me. I'll buy that. Watch. Send them to me. acejmorby@me.com. I will buy those. I am a buyer in Georgia. So this is how easy it is. Okay. I've built the free resources. There's people dropping deals all over the place. Okay. So three new subject to deals, $30,000 to $65,000 entry fee. Need real buyers. DM me. I'm not going to DM you. You do the work. You DM me. Okay. Or you send me an email with all the details. So come in here and say, I'm in Little Rock, Arkansas. Now I need to connect with somebody. Blah, 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 all the stuff. Go in there. Do the work. Okay. I put the work in. We have people managing this. I have payroll that comes out of my pocket every month to run a free Facebook group for you. Okay. You want a deal? Boom. You saw right there in 2 seconds, I found a deal in my free Facebook group. So don't come to me and go, how do I find a SubTo deal if you haven't joined my free Facebook group? Okay. Juan Mercado says, I don't have Facebook, but thank you. The only way for you guys to connect with the world is Instagram and Facebook. Why would you not have either one of those? You don't have to post on Facebook, but Facebook is like, you can buy things and buy deals right there. Why would you not have that? That's crazy. Juan, it's crazy, brother. It's crazy. Okay. So, let's see if we got any questions in here. I got like 20 minutes. Okay. Tanisha Epps, by the way, give her some love, guys. She is, let me pull up her YouTube channel real quick. Tanisha Epps. I believe that Tanisha Epps will be the #1 midterm rental person to go to. She will be the go-to person within the next 18, maybe 24 months on the long end, depending on how hard she works and how good of a job I do. So let's go Tanisha Epps. There she is. There's my girl. She's amazing. She's everybody's girl. Everybody loves her. She's the best. Okay. So go and subscribe to her. She's amazing. I'll give you guys her link. You guys want to learn more about midterm rentals? She's the girl. There's her link. Okay. All right, cool. Let's see if I got some Q&A. Where did you learn SubTo from, and how did you get started in the business? So I was a contractor for a very, very long time, and I learned creative finance and subject to directly from, I paid $47,500 out of my construction money for a mentorship that ended up being a total, complete waste of my time. And the guy that was teaching it, his name is John. He lives here in Arizona. Still to this day, charges 50 grand for it. And people get suckered into it. The guy hasn't done it. I found out like the second week in his mentorship that he hadn't done a deal in over 10 years. But what I got out of it was worth millions of dollars. Okay. So I got to give him credit for giving me one thing of tremendous value. Is why did I not like it? Wasn't a guy doing deals, so he wasn't keeping up to date on the laws. 2, he didn't want any of the students to know each other because they all were complaining about how horrible his fulfillment was and how he had no actual, like there was just nothing there. It was just like you had to learn from him or learn from nobody. And so just, he wasn't a giver, and I want to be around givers. But he did give me a connection to Eileen Brown in Arizona, and Eileen Brown still I'm actually doing an agent class with her. Here we are years and years later. That relationship, Eileen Brown taught me the majority of what I know. The majority of what I know about creative finance is from doing active deals. You learn something new on every deal. I still don't know everything. And I would say I'm the guy that knows the most. I still don't know everything. There's things that you learn on every transaction. Not so much about creative finance, but more about real estate in general. But that connection with Eileen Brown, she's the one that taught me everything I needed to know to get started. And then continually was like the bumper in my life to make sure that I was on the straight and narrow for a long, long time. So good question. Edgar, no problem, brother. Appreciate you too. So we should never buy on wrap deals. You should never buy on wrap deals. No, because a wrap means somebody has already sucked out all the profit out of the deal. If you are buying a home to live in, then yes, feel free to buy on a wrap. But the purpose of a wrap, like let's say I buy a house subject to, okay, I buy a house subject to, I then turn around and I sell it on a wrap as the investor. If somebody's selling on a wrap, that means you're buying a house from an investor. Do you want to buy a house from an investor? No, you do not want to buy a house from an investor, because the investor's job is to amplify their profit, and they are not in a painful or motivated state of mind. So they're amplifying their interest rate and they're sucking out all the profit. In fact, I sell my wraps sometimes $50,000 to $100,000 over retail value. So not only is the purchase price really high, but the interest rate is really, really high. Do not buy on a wrap unless you are moving into the house yourself and you just have really bad credit. And then in that situation, then your wrap would make sense, right? You're purchasing on a wrap would make sense. But as an investor, I buy on subject to, buy on seller finance, and then I sell on a wrap. You don't buy wraps, you sell on wraps, okay? Nathan Barnes says, I'm moving in 2 to 3 months to Phoenix to get around more community members. You know, there's community members in every single area, right? Hey, Pace, what's the best way to get started in multifamily? Don't. Okay. I own 1,500 doors in multifamily. And I would tell you that unless you have a handful of single family properties under your belt, I would not waste your time, your energy on learning multifamily. You guys think multifamily is sexy, but multifamily is an investment strategy that takes a long time to make money. Like there's properties I bought a year ago, like really big complexes, like 400 plus units that I still haven't gotten a paycheck on. Okay. It takes years and years. Multifamily is slow to start, but once it gets started, it compounds faster than single family. So I would say that people like Grant Cardone and other big multifamily investors have made it so people get really excited about multifamily. But when you sit down and actually look at multifamily, you go, wow, this is really slow. Well, you know what wins games? Not home runs. What wins games are base hits, base hits, base hits. Consistent base hits is what wins a baseball game. And so for me, as a real estate investor, I do both, right? I have a lot more multifamily doors than I have single family doors. However, I do a lot more single family transactions because it keeps my acquisition team busy, my transaction coordinators busy. It brings in money on a daily basis. And I actually can cash flow a single family really, really quickly. Whereas a multifamily, they take so much more time. So like, how are you building a team? Guys, the goal of a business is to actually have a business beyond yourself. Okay. Don't be the person that's just doing business by yourself. Okay. In the beginning, yes, I did that for 3, 4 years. Then I had to learn how to hire and I had to learn how to delegate. I'm still learning how to delegate. I'm still learning how to be a better leader. I'm like 10% of what I want to be. And you have to learn new skills beyond just real estate. But what I find with people in multifamily is you're so busy with your 9 to 5 job because your new multifamily, say you buy a 30 unit or a 40 unit, is not producing cash flow yet. And it's taking a while to renovate and raise the rents. It's also a second full-time job. And while this is going on over here, you don't have any time or energy to hire a team member. And also, when does your team get paid? They get paid when you buy a new transaction, right? Your acquisition team gets paid commissions. Your transaction coordinators get paid per file. So if you're not buying actively and keeping these people busy, then they go elsewhere and you have no ability to actually build a team. Okay. It's very, very important. Don't start, if you haven't done single family, do not. Okay. So many robots in the comments. What are you talking about? Where are the robots? I don't see any robots in the comments. Okay, so what about a fourplex or a duplex? Well, a fourplex and a duplex is not multifamily. That is still considered single family, just so you know. It's not multifamily until you're at 5 units or more. That is still considered single family. It is, okay? According to lenders and how lenders lend on properties, they are if you go do a fourplex, you can still get a single family loan. It's not a commercial loan, okay? Great question. Pace, how do you pick a location for midterm rentals and where do you list them for rent? Here's what I would do. Look in the comments right now. I'm going to give you Tanisha Epps midterm rental or YouTube. Go to her YouTube and give her some love. Make some comments in her videos and tell her what videos to make, and she'll make you some videos. Okay. Are you good with 2 open loans if the numbers still make sense? Yes, I have a property in Atlanta, Georgia that has 4 loans on it. 4. I have a SubTo loan, a SubTo loan, and 2 seller finance loans on one property. Okay, 4 loans, one property. After those 4 loans are paid every month, I still cash flow $500 a month net. Okay. Yeah. Vincent R says, I always tell new investors, never start with multifamily. What it is they're shiny object syndrome. You want to do everything you possibly can. You hear people talk about multifamily, and I would tell you the people that I look up to the most in multifamily, Vina Jetty, Tim Bratz, handful of other people, they all started with single family guys. Okay. Ask them, say, did you start with multifamily or single family? And they'll say, I started with single family because I needed the momentum. I needed the credibility. You learn so much more about real estate in the single family world than you do about multifamily, because what would you rather do? Would you rather only swing for a home run every single time? If you're trying to win a game by saying I don't want any single base hits, I don't want any double hits, I don't want any of that stuff, I only want home runs. Guess what? You're going to lose way more games, and you're going to be deflated, demoralized, and upset that you don't have active income coming in your business all the time. Single family gives you the ability to bring in base hits all the time. Okay, that's how you win. That's how you win. You make 10 grand, 20 grand, 10 grand, 20 grand, 10 grand, 20 grand, 10 grand, 20 grand. Okay. That's how it works. I'm a visionary, and if I partner with an integrator, do I need to make an LLP? You make an LLC, not an LLP. Or how does the split work? Like 50-50, 30-50? Here's the thing, Tony, you need to read Rocket Fuel. Great book. Gino Wickman, Rocket Fuel. Go read it. Gino Wickman, Rocket Fuel. Go read it. Integrators can be hired. Visionaries cannot be. You cannot hire a visionary. Okay. You cannot hire somebody like me, but you can hire an integrator. I would say that as a visionary, you have more leverage in the beginning. So set it up in your favor. And over time, your integrator, if they do a good job, they can earn more equity. So I would start it out as like a 70-30. And then as your integrator scales in the business and starts taking things off your plate, like my partners have, then you can turn it into hey, Jason Wagner, good to see you. You could then allow them to earn out to 50-50 over time. Okay. Just FYI. Wow. This is effed up. Money. This whole channel is effed. Okay. Wow. Really? You guys imagine the mindset of the person that took the time to write that? Like, what are they going through right now? Right? Like, they lack positive friends. They lack positive relationships. They lack self-confidence. They lack self-esteem. And so instead of saying that in the comments, like what they're really feeling, they decide, let me attack other people so I can feel better about myself. If you guys understand human nature, you will understand that that is the majority of any negative comment. Not the majority, it's 100% of the negative comments you'll ever get in your life. They filter themselves out for you. So it's like, thank you, Tommy. I truly and genuinely, non-sarcastically, thank you for showing me your true colors. Somebody who's never done a single positive thing in their life will show you who they are right here in a comment like this. I like knowing that a zebra is a zebra. So thank you for showing me your stripes. Thank you for showing me what kind of animal you are right from the get-go. So you can just get blocked and we never have to deal with you. It's great. Okay. Okay. So creme de la clutch exotics. In the case of a claim, does the check come under the name also under their name? Also, if they are listed as an additional insured, wouldn't that create an issue? Okay. So no, the way the insurance is done is that most of the time when I buy a subject to deal, I do not put the previous owner on the insurance. Okay. Most of the time. Now, when we go to replace the insurance, okay, because you're getting a new insurance policy with you as the only insured person, okay, your company, sometimes the bank will go, wait a minute, why is the owner of the property not the blah, blah, blah? And then we go, oh, sorry, we made a mistake. And we add them as an additional insured. But the beautiful thing is we then in that process have already signed a limited power of attorney over the insurance. So we have full control. So the seller, who's no longer the seller anymore, they sold the property. The previous owner has signed a power of attorney, okay, giving us the rights over that insurance claim, even though they are an additional insured. Okay. That power of attorney ensures that we don't have those issues. Okay. Hey, Chase Fisher, tell me you're not a student without telling me you're not a student. This is the most common question I get. How do you avoid the due on sale clause for SubTo deals? Okay. Go to my YouTube channel and type in Pace Morby due on sale and watch the 5 videos that I put on there. Okay. Hey, there we go. Tanisha Epps. Thank you guys for subscribing to Tanisha. She's amazing. Go give her some love. She's just hit 600 subscribers. I'd love to see her hit 1,000 pretty quickly. Okay. Wayne Cantwell, great advice, Pace. I just closed my first deal and now looking to jump on board with you, Pace. Well, you're not jumping on board with me. I do understand what you're saying. You're jumping into an unbelievable community of people that will help you along the way. Okay. That's the most important thing, is having a community. How can a real estate agent get paid for SubTo, seller finance referrals, deals? What would be the financial motivating factor for them? Well, first and foremost, real estate agents' motivating factor should be taking care of their client. And unfortunately, I'm not an agent. I somewhat despise 95% of real estate agents. I also don't like a lot of wholesalers. I just don't like people that don't run ethical business. So I'm not making a differentiation between agents and wholesalers. I love working with agents and wholesalers who are just doing the right thing and taking care of their clients. But if your client does have equity, you shouldn't have taken the listing in the first place. You should have told your seller, hey, I can find a buyer for this house, but it's not going to be on the MLS because you don't have equity. And if you want to sell on the MLS and cut a check out of your pocket, this is happening all over the country. It's going to get even worse over the next couple of years. I can find a buyer for this that can just take over your payments. They'll pay me a referral fee. By the way, the buyer pays the agent when the seller's not receiving money. Okay. So it depends on the deal. If the seller's getting a big chunk of money, okay, so let's break it down real quick on the whiteboard. Okay. Let's give you a couple of examples. Okay. I have a deal I bought in Chandler, Arizona, not too long ago, where it was a $700,000 purchase. This is I turned it into an Airbnb. Okay. $525,000 of that 700 is a SubTo deal. Okay. At 3% interest. I have one payment here. Okay. Then the seller said, I want $50,000 down. Okay. Give him $50,000 down, which then leaves me with $125,000 second lien owed to the seller. Okay, so we call this a hybrid deal. Why? Because one, I bought it SubTo, and two, seller finance. So it's a hybrid. All right. Let me remove your comments so everybody can see. Okay, so it's a hybrid. So the seller received $50,000 down, right? And so I told the seller, I said, hey, seller, I will give you 50K down, but you need to take care of your agent out of your $50,000. Okay. That is in that situation. Depends on the deal. Okay. Agent gets paid in that deal, but it came from the seller because that's the way I structured it. Right. Now, another deal that I'm doing right now, it is a SubTo deal, straight up SubTo deal, $250,000. Okay. There is no equity. Okay. Interest rate on this deal is 3.125%, really good rate. And there's no equity. So the seller of the house, agent, I feel bad for the seller because the agent didn't tell them. This happens a lot. This is why I don't like unethical agents. They don't tell their sellers that there's no equity because the agent doesn't even understand that. It's crazy to me, but it is what it is. We all think agents know a lot about real estate, but even if you're a real estate agent listening to and watching this, guys, just admit, okay? Admit you guys went to real estate school. I went to real estate school too, just so you know. And nobody taught you anything valuable. And then you have a license to sell real estate. And we, the people who are not agents, assume you guys actually know what you're doing. But for the first 2, maybe 3 years of being a real estate agent is when you actually learn how to be a real estate agent, depending on your broker. If you have a broker that's actually an investor himself, does flips, buys rentals, does creative finance, that's the kind of broker you want to go to. But that's like 1% of the brokers. 99% of the brokers just teach you go do open houses, go get listings, go do open houses, go get listings. So for the 2 or 3 years you should be learning real estate, you don't learn real estate. You still don't even understand how to comp a property 2 years, 3 years in. You look at Zillow or you have to call someone. Literally, that is 99% of the agents I interface with. They don't even know how to comp a property. Okay. So what's happening is seller says, hey, agent, I have this property and I want to sell it. So the seller goes to who they know, right? The general public only knows about real estate agents. So they call an agent, typically a family member. And this agent doesn't even ask or understand that person has equity or no equity. So they go list the property for 5.5 to 6 months to no avail. And all the offers that are coming in, the agent then realizes, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, the seller's going to have to write a check for $20,000 to get rid of this house. And there's going to be no commission for me. So the listing ends up dying. Okay, this is called an expired listing. The agent failed on the listing. This happens all the time. Failed listing. Okay, if you guys want to go get a deal today, go to the failed listing list. Go talk to an agent. Okay, failed listing. Phenomenal way to go get a SubTo deal today. You want to get a SubTo deal today, make 10 grand today, go to the failed listing. So in this situation, the seller has no equity. The buyer, which is a PACE or maybe even a wholesaler, depending on who first talks to them. Wholesaler calls the agent and says, hey, I want to buy this house subject to. If you're a smart person, you're trained by me, you call this agent and you say, if I can pay your commissions, would your seller be open to subject to? That's the proper way to say that to an agent, because the only thing the agent is going to say or listen to is they don't care about how the house is sold. To be honest, most agents do not care. They just want their commission. That's how they get paid. Okay. So in this situation, the wholesaler would go to this agent and say, hey, I've got I want to buy that house subject to, I will get your commissions paid and maybe give the seller a couple $1,000. Okay. That's what we're doing on this one. The seller's getting $2,000. This agent on this specific deal right here had the house listed since December. So about 5 months as this property's been listed. Okay. The agent's about to lose their listing. Okay. Because the average listing agreement between between the seller and the agent is about 6 months. Okay. That's the average. That's the most common one. So they're about to lose their listing. They're already 5 months in. So we're paying the agent less than they would have. If they did this on the market and they got a cash offer, they'd get 3%. So what is that? That's $7,000. Okay. We're not paying the agent $7,000. We're paying the agent $3,000. Okay. A little over 1%, like 1.25%, because that's what we agreed to. Okay. There's no equity. So we structured our own percentages. So who pays for that? Well, not the wholesaler, because he doesn't have any money. No offense to you wholesalers, but most of y'all are broke. The buyer does. Whoever ends up buying this deal says, I like this. I like this interest rate. This is amazing. I can pay $10,000 to the wholesaler. They structured the deal. They had all the risk of hiring cold callers and doing all the things. I will pay the commissions to the agent, let's say $3,000, and then $2,000 to the seller. So the person who pays that is the buyer. So right there, you've got $10,000 to the wholesaler, $3,000 to the agent, $2,000 to the seller, and then another $5,000 in closing costs. So that buyer is going to come up with $20,000 to buy this deal. Now, why would the buyer come up with 20 grand? Well, because damn, 20 grand on a $250,000 house to get 3.125% interest all day long. That's like 8%, maybe even less, maybe like 7%. Okay. That's a great 8% down, including the closing costs, 8% out of your pocket as a buyer. Phenomenal. That's the goal, is you want to be less than 10% all in. Okay. Less than 10% as the buyer all in. And I won't even look at anything going forward unless it starts with a 3%. Okay. People sending me 4.125% SubTo deals right now, I'm saying no, even if it's a good deal, because there's so many 3% deals. Now, I used to wholesale a lot of SubTo deals. Okay. I used to wholesale a lot. And then I got to a point where I no longer want to wholesale. I want to keep them all. Okay. Are you a licensed agent? No, I would never become a licensed agent. For me, in my business model, it would be a waste of my time. The only thing, here's the benefits of being a licensed agent, by the way, is the only reason you would want to be a licensed agent is so when you're talking to other agents, they will pay attention to you, because agents only respect their own kind. Okay. And so if you say, no, I'm not an agent, immediately they'd lose respect for you. But now the counter to that is that if I want to talk to a homeowner directly, which I do all the time, if the agent is not doing their fiduciary responsibility, okay, if the agent is not doing their responsibility and taking care of that client and presenting all offers, then I will call the homeowner directly and I'll say, my name is Pace Morby. I'm an investor. I've submitted an offer to your agent. I haven't heard back in 5 days. They said they've submitted my offer. I just want to make sure you got it. Guess what? Most of the time, the agent never submitted the offer because agents don't understand creative finance. Now, if I was a licensed agent and I called that homeowner directly, I could lose my license. But because I'm not a licensed agent, I don't have to abide by any agent rules. Okay. I can go directly to the homeowner. And to me, that's an advantage. I don't have to I don't care. An agent can go, I'm going to call your broker. I go, I'm not licensed. Who are you going to call? Okay. So you have to make a decision as an individual investor. You have to make a decision on what you want to do. Okay. JR Cal, yo, Pace, I have a seller in Ocala. ARV is $300K, $60,000 arrears. Seller wants $25,000 to walk away with. Would a SubTo work? Yeah, a SubTo would work. But what I would do is I would try and get the seller to do a loan modification before you even start negotiating. Just tell them, hey, I'm going to put you in touch with somebody that can do loan modifications. After the loan modification is done, hopefully that $60,000 is taken care of. And once you go through them, maybe we can have a conversation, because $60,000 is a lot. Okay. Do you use a form to submit offers, or is an email sufficient? I don't submit offers. I send contracts. So when somebody says, hey, I'm ready to go, my team sends out a contract. That's it. Okay. Yeah. This is Angel Barber. This is a disease in the agent culture, is that if they don't want to waste their time, or they feel like they're not getting paid their commissions, or more importantly, okay. More importantly, if they don't understand creative finance. So what they do is they just go, yeah, I'll submit the offer, but they don't know how to submit the offer. Okay. So what I do to get around this is I go to the agent. I go, I'm going to assume, okay, and correct me if I'm wrong, you don't understand creative finance. So if it would be helpful, I'd love to get on a Zoom with you and your seller, and I'll present the offer to them so that you can see how I present the offer and I can give you an education. But if I'm wrong and you know SubTo and seller finance, cool. And then I wait for the agent to reply. If they go, oh my gosh, you would do that? Most agents are like, you would do that? And I do those all on Zoom. I take those Zoom recordings and I give those to my students so they can watch how I do it. Okay. Let's see here. There was another question. Anthony Roche. She's coming. This is going to be April 22nd, April 21st, I think. This is happening. It's going to be in my offices in Tempe. I'll be talking about this in a couple of days. Can you subject to on a probate property? Of course. Absolutely. Some of my best deals came from probate attorneys giving me referrals. How do probate attorneys get paid for their referrals? It's negotiable. I pay Rylas Dana $5,000 to $10,000 on every deal he sends me. $5,000 to $10,000. Okay. Would you consider sober living for a lake vacation property to make the numbers work? No, that's probably not the right location. Okay. Offer is a written contract. I've been a real estate broker for over 20 years. Now, investor for life. Thank you. It's always the agents and brokers that want to tell you how long they've been in the business. It's not an offer. Okay. An LOI is an offer, like letter of intent. Here's my offer. Okay. It could be an email, could be whatever. That's not an offer. Okay. That's an offer. Me sending a contract means we've already verbally agreed on the transaction. Okay. So I work it out with the seller and the agent. And they go, can you send me the paperwork to review? I'll say, no problem. Let's review it together on a Zoom. They don't like that. You know why they don't like that? Is because the agent wants to go and shop your offer to other buyers that they're already talking to, or the wholesaler, or the buyer, or whoever. So I don't send over anything. And if they want to review the paperwork, happy to do it. I'll even pay an attorney to review it with them. I'll have my transaction coordinator review it with them, but I won't play games with agents. It's a typical agent game to say, send your offer. I already told you my offer. I told it to you verbally. If you're ready to go through the paperwork and sign, I'll send you a contract. Okay. And if you need me to help you fill out the contract, because brokers don't understand how to fill out creative finance contracts, and agents, my gosh, they barely understand how to fill out their own forms from their state. Okay. You have to walk them through it. So my transaction coordinator says, no problem. When your seller is ready to sign, let's all get on a Zoom together. Guys, welcome to 2023. Okay. I don't send out blind offers and let people sit on them. If you're serious about selling to me, I got enough stuff coming through my pipeline. I don't want to follow up with you and go, hey, why have you not signed the contract? I'm so sick of dealing with agents and brokers that do that. Send the offer. Okay. And then 4 days later, I don't hear from you guys. I don't have time to follow up with you like I'm your babysitter. Do you want to do a deal or not? And you say, yes, send over the contract. A contract is a contract. An offer is an offer. Okay. Could you legally say a contract is an offer? Yes, but you know what I'm talking about. Okay. Okay. You know what I'm talking about. Do realtors ask for proof for a SubTo offer? If a realtor asks for proof of funds, give it to them. But if they ask for a proof of funds for a SubTo or seller finance offer, you're like, why? This is, you are financing me. Why would I need a proof of funds? Okay. It doesn't make any sense. Yes, Monte, I am doing something with Eileen Brown, that she's going to be in person in my office, also with my real estate, attorney. And we are going to educate brokers who have been in the business for 25 and 35 years that have no clue about creative finance. We're going to be doing that in person in Arizona. I will have 40, I think she's 45 years experienced in creative finance, Eileen Brown, and then also Sean St. Clair, my attorney. We will be doing an in-person class, streaming that for my SubTo community and recording all of that. But we will have about 200 agents in person. I'm 2 minutes late for a meeting, guys. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you later.